Gentlemen, we have called you together to inform you that we are going to overthrow the United States government.
No, 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 don't do that. Put the gun down, kid. Don't do it. No, damn it!
Don't go tonight. Stay here one more time. Remind me of the time. And let's fall in love.
Gotta be kidding me
One
again.
more time. Need you now by my side. It tears me up when you turn me down.
I see her.
Begging, please, just stick around. I'm sorry, don't leave me. I want you here with me. I know that love's gone. I can't breathe, I'm so weak. I know this isn't
We don't do this.
easy.
These people use their
Tell
kids.
me that
So
your
who does that?
love is gone.
Oh, they made me into
That your love is gone.
a killer. I hope they're happy.
Get the fuck off me! Asshole! Fucker! What the fuck? Ah! Fuck! What the fuck? What the
Beijing's humanoid robot half marathon on yesterday had more than 300 humanoid robots and over 70 teams participating in the 13-mile race.
I mean, Russia and NATO are going to be adversarial. Russia tried to join NATO. No one talks about this. We didn't let them. We wanted them to be an enemy. We then encroached on their land. We then expanded to the borders of Russia. We tried to incorporate Ukraine also. NATO started the war with Russia. That's what happened, firstly.
Provoke. United States provoked the war. I agree with this theory. Guys, you can go and research. Maybe we're wrong,
okay.
But...
So if Europe is an enemy to Russia, and you're in charge of Russia...
No, let's explain to them, because, so what we're saying is that Russia, what they want. They don't want NATO in their borders.
Yep.
So if Russia goes in Mexico and build military bases next to it, is United States going to allow it? Probably not.
Of course.
So this is what we're saying. So that they provoked it. They knew that Russia will not like this. They knew that they will have a problem with, and we still went ahead and do it.
Absolutely.
And Europe, the same thing. This is what we mean.
Completely correct. If Russia tried to build military bases in Mexico, America would not allow it, and it would fight back. And that's exactly what we did. We tried to build bases on the edge of Russia. This is the simple version.
It's two evils fighting. It's not one good and bad.
There's never good and bad in the world.
Yes.
There's never good and bad. There's always varying shades of gray. The world is complicated. But my point is simply that Russia views Europe adversarially currently. Of course it does. We're using Storm Shadow missiles from Britain to hit Russian targets inside of Russia. So Russia sees Europe as an enemy. So let's ask ourselves a pertinent question as intelligent individuals. If Russia sees Europe as an enemy, why would it be influencing elections to bring in competent nationalists, which will promote masculinity and promote patriotism, promote national pride, and promote energy efficiency inside of countries? Wouldn't they instead try and weaken their enemy by bringing in insane leftists who are only concerned with windmills and dumb shit and letting the economies collapse like Europe currently is. Isn't Russia very happy with our current leadership? Because they're all fucking imbeciles. That's what they want. They want us to sit around and die. We just talked for the last 2 hours about why Europe's collapsing. That's what Russia wants. So when they say he tried to vote in a competent
I'm not sure if
nationalist...
it's collapsing. It's not growing as fast as it can grow.
So when we talk about Europe influencing elections and trying to bring in somebody who's going to save the nation, that doesn't even make sense because Russia doesn't want that.
Apparently, Norwegians wear fishnets under their clothes and have been for over 100 years. So I wanted to figure out, why are they doing that? In all seriousness though, fishnets are incredibly useful when worn under your clothes. Just ask the first ever people that summited Mount Everest. Decades ago though, they were incredibly popular. There's a ton of ads about them, just jolly folks wearing them, but they weren't called fishnets. Even though originally they were made out of fishnets, they were called health vests or string vests. The reason everybody was such a big fan of string vests or health vests was because of an invisible layer of air trapped right here. When the mesh is uncovered, obviously that area of air is moving about, nothing is staying still. It's basically like you're shirtless, which is really helpful if you're doing a big expedition and need to vent heat really fast. But when you put a layer over that mesh and cover up the holes, the mesh essentially is pushing that layer out just a tiny bit. It's not connecting with your skin. And since it's a mesh, as it's doing that, moisture, water vapor, and everything can pass through the holes easily and get stuck on this layer instead of that layer, keeping the moisture off of your body. That really helps regulate your overall body temperature and make you feel a lot more comfortable when you don't have wet, clammy clothes sticking to you at all times. And in a similar vein, that invisible pocket of air that I was talking about before gets trapped by the outer layer, which makes this really, really insulating in hot or cold environments. And according to Bernier, who did not sponsor this video, it makes their base layers 4 to 6 times warmer than one that wasn't mesh.
He was on like a year ago saying, this group kills people, and if Trump really goes for disclosure, I think you're going to see a lot of death. Well, now it's official U.S. government study, like why? They're saying it's 11 scientists. Folks, it's hundreds. But it's people over gravitic control. It's not anti-gravity, folks. It's gravity manipulation, gravity control. And it's people involved with the secret space program, all of it. And they're saying, they're coming to kill me. They told me they are, and they're dead.
This dude, this katana-wielding dude, made a really big deal about, he was like, okay, listen to me. It's been independently discovered 4 other times. He said it's been suppressed every other time. This time, they're waiting for someone to publish. They're ready. And on the other side of the fence, there's multiple parties looking at each other like, didn't we tell this bitch 3 years ago that we kill people for this? Is she not listening? What is she doing? She's still doing it? What? We told her we were going to kill her 3 years ago. So I have these two different scenarios floating constantly in my life where I have people being like, do it. You're the one, do it. And then I have multiple people being like, they're going to kill you. Don't do it.
Every day that I have on earth is a gift and a blessing, and I'm very grateful for that because, frankly, people are disappearing. Scientists are going missing. Now they're saying they're going to investigate this. The president himself is saying they're going to look into this and see if anything's going on. It's a little bit scary. I got to say, it's a little bit scary, but you guys knew that I might still show up even though it was last minute and I've had a really rough week. Like, you know, that's kind of like every week, but somehow we keep on making it through all of this.
Daniel List, we've had prominent UFO researchers commit suicide in the last few days and die. We have all these scientists dying. We have all these Chinese scientists dying. You're a very credible, prominent guy. I'm not trying to be dramatic here, but if you started to get a little bit of your skin crawling, a little bit concerned yourself, you know me, I'm not a dramatic guy with you personally, but I just wanted to ask that question up front. Hope you don't mind it. Are you getting a little creeped out here?
There's no question about it, and it's great to be back with you, Alex. I do want to actually spotlight that when you took on the UFO issue and started speaking about the secret space program, I noted a genuine uptick, and I mean serious uptick in your legal issues. And I noted it sometime back in 2017, way back there.
Trump orders a real investigation, so he sends out investigators, and then all the key people die. It's pretty obvious.
There's no question about it. And I will say that, you know, Trump going on the record right there in February and saying we're going to release all of these records pertaining to the UFO file was gigantic.
To begin releasing government files relating to UFOs and unexplained aerial phenomena. And I figured this was a good crowd because I know you people, you're really into that. I don't know if I am, but so I'm pleased to report today. I thought I'd save it for this crowd because you're a little bit out there, you know, a little bit. That this process is well underway, and we found many very interesting documents, I must say. And the first releases will begin very, very soon. So you can go out and see if that phenomena is correct. You'll figure it out. Let me know. Let me know.
We do know that General McCasland was well respected by people who were pushing for UAP disclosure, including very senior people in Hillary Clinton's campaign back in 2016. We know he was planning to disclose UAP secrets in what was expected to be a Clinton presidency. And it's really interesting that this follows so closely, his disappearance follows so closely on the heels of President Trump's announcement that he was intending to declassify UFO files. A promise, by the way, which the president hasn't followed up on yet.
It was huge, and we saw it was, you know, interfered with by Obama. So we know that something strange was going on the inside.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens?
And then in the background there, you had a number of people who were silently being moved off the stage and eliminated. But I've also seen how this works directly. You know, we're talking about DoD billionaires hanging out in the background, hardware manufacturers, defense contractors. And if you have that stroke of history, when you look across it, you can see presidents warning about this through generations, from Eisenhower, Reagan, and others.
And the guy is a sick guy. When you read his manifesto, he hates Christians. That's one thing for sure. He hates Christians, a hatred. And I think his sister or his brother actually was complaining about it. You know, they were even complaining to law enforcement. So he was a very troubled guy.
From this moment on, you aren't serving Uncle Sam anymore. You are serving the state of Israel. Do you understand me? Sir, yes, sir. I don't know what I've been told. I don't know what I've been told. Israel needs more blood spilled. Israel needs more blood spilled. Are you ready to die for the Greater Israel Project? Sir, yes, sir. What about you, tough guy? You ready to die for the Greater Israel Project? Sir, yes, sir. That's what I like to hear. You are now serving the state of Israel. Do you understand me? Sir, yes, sir.
That's what it seems like. It seems like racist equals white. Because no black man can be racist to me. If I criticize a Jew, I'm an anti-Semite. If I criticize an Islamic, I'm an Islamophobe. What are you if you criticize me? What are you if you try and replace me? What are you if you try and tell me I'm wrong for wanting to protect my children? Apparently, you're a perfectly reasonable person, but I'm a racist for wanting to protect my future. No, bullshit. I don't accept the 14 words as a thing. I think it's ridiculous that anyone could even say that they own this concept, as every human thinks this thing. Black people go on and on and on about black. Asians, like Indians, will tell you that India is the best at this. This is Indian, that's Indian, everything's brilliant that is Indian. Good for you. You love your people. I'm glad for you. I love mine. But don't call me I'm a racist just because you don't like the word white. If you don't like the word white, maybe you shouldn't live in a white country. Like, really, if you don't like white people, go away. White people live here. I'm really sick of it. I'll be honest, I'm really sick of it. I'm sick of us being exceptionalized. This is happening every Western country. What we used to call Christendom is under attack by its own people, by its own elite. And we're supposed to just sit here and be arrested for having an opinion. No, I'm not a racist because I'm white. I'm a racist because I'm a human. Every fucking human is racist. It's normal to love your own people more than you love other people. It's normal. The creation of the word racist doesn't suddenly make me an evil person. It's a concept. It's not even a real thing. It's called in-group bias and out-group bias. It's genetics. It's frustrating, to be honest, that these questions even exist.
The Red Cross rep was like, he goes over and he says, well, you got to stay behind this line because they're thinking about bringing the building down. They didn't say what building. They just said bringing a building down. So we're like, okay, we'll take their word for it. We'll stay behind the line. And he went over and he talked to one of the, through all the commotion, he goes over and he asked one of the Red Cross, or one of the firefighters, what was going on. I guess, I don't know if he got an answer or not. He came back over with his hand over the radio, and it sounded like a countdown. And at the last few seconds, he took his hand off, and you heard 3, 2, 1, and he was just saying, just run for your life, just run for your life. And then it was like another 2, 3 seconds, you heard explosions. Like, boom! There's like a distinct sound. It's not like when compression, like boom, 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 like floors that were dropping and collapsing. This was boom, and like you felt a rumble in the ground, like almost like you wanted to grab onto something. That, to me, I knew that was an explosion. There was no doubt in my mind.
The chief of safety of the fire department of New York City told me that shortly after 9 o'clock, he had roughly 10 alarms, roughly 200 men in the building trying to effect rescues of some of those civilians who were in there, and that basically he received word of the possibility of a secondary device, that is another bomb going off. He tried to get his men out as quickly as he could, but he said that there was another explosion which took place, and then an hour after the first hit here, with the first crash that took place, he said, there was another explosion that took place in one of the towers here. So obviously, according to his theory, he thinks that there were actually devices that were planted in the building.
There was a secondary explosion, probably a device either planted before or on the aircraft that did not explode until an hour later.
I got that white girl!
Your Honor, my client is mentally incapable to stand the trial. So kindly forgive this poor man and release him. He has a whole life waiting for him.
I feel pity for this poor man. His circumstances are truly unfortunate. As a liberal judge, I will say that you deserve all the happiness and you are free to live your life.
Loyola student Sheridan Gorman back in court. A grand jury has indicted him on first-degree murder. Jose Medina allegedly shot Sheridan as she walked with her friends in Chicago's lakefront area last month. In their statement, Sheridan's family saying, quote, "Our focus remains on Sheridan, who she was, what she meant to us, and what was taken from her. If there's any purpose to be found in this loss, it is that no other family should have to endure what we are living through right now." Correspondent Garrett Tenney reporting live from Chicago. Hi, Garrett.
Hey, Martha. Jose Medina limped into the courtroom this afternoon for a status hearing where his attorney had a lot of requests for the court, telling the judge that Medina needs a cane due to a spinal injury and that he requires surgery to remove a bullet fragment that's lodged in his nasal cavity from when he was shot in the head back in 2018, since it's causing him headaches. The judge granted those requests and ordered Medina to provide a DNA sample to state police. We're also learning new details about how Medina was released into the country by the Biden administration. According to internal Border Patrol documents shared by the House Judiciary Committee, when Medina was caught crossing the border in Texas back in 2023, he didn't have any form of identification. He admitted he didn't have a valid asylum claim and told Border Patrol he didn't have any fear or safety concerns about being returned to Venezuela. At the time, officers noted he was likely going to disappear into the country if he was released, but in line with the Biden administration's policies, Medina was released, and as predicted, he disappeared and never showed up for his immigration hearings. Fast forward almost 3 years later, prosecutors say the Venezuelan national ambushed college freshman Sheridan Gorman, shooting and killing her as she tried to run away.
A McDonald's employee in Tennessee was fired after customers reported that a black male worker was putting his hand inside his underwear and scratching himself while working. The incident happened at a McDonald's restaurant in Tennessee. Several customers said they saw a male employee repeatedly place his hand inside his underwear and scratch himself while preparing food. Witnesses said he continued the behavior even after noticing people watching him. Customers said they felt sick and immediately filed a complaint with the restaurant. Management reviewed the report and spoke with the employee. The worker was removed from his shift and later terminated for violating basic hygiene rules. The manager also gave refunds to the customers who witnessed the incident and apologized for the situation. Some people online suggested the worker might be a new immigrant who has not fully adapted to workplace expectations in the United States, saying he may not have understood how inappropriate his actions were. Others argued that the restaurant must take responsibility for training and supervision. They said fast food employees need clear instructions on food safety, and if management fails to teach basic hygiene, you may start noticing your fries getting a lot saltier. What do you think about this behavior?
First of all, nothing that traps like McDonald's serve is food. They're eating flesh and blood. They're eating fucking people. They're eating bullshit. Second, did you see that motherfucker's hands? I've never seen hands like that in my life. If I ate at Traps, I wouldn't even want him touching a bag. I wouldn't even want him in the kitchen area. Another thing I noticed is they were watching him walk around with his hands in his pants, but nobody left. They still gonna place their order. You gotta be a junkie to eat from a Trap. I stopped eating from Traps long time ago because I just start realizing I don't know these people. I don't know nothing about them. I can't even see what they doing. I don't even know what they're putting in my meal. And Traps like McDonald's, you think you can see what they doing, but all they doing is heating shit up. You can't see what happened before that. There's probably hundreds of hands involved in making all that bullshit before it gets there. And then you know what else? You think this is just an isolated incident? Hell no. This shit is happening every day, all over the country. This is just one story that made it to the internet.
There are some herbs that you can give people to boost liver function. So let's have a look at the herbs. And you've probably heard the saying, bitter to the mouth, sweet to the stomach, sweet to the mouth, bitter to the stomach. You can also apply that to liver. Sweet to the mouth, bitter to the liver. Bitter to the mouth, sweet to the liver. So all your bitter herbs are great for the liver. So this is dandelion. And that can be the flower or the stem or the leaf or the root. It all has those bitter properties. Gentian. Gentian's a very bitter herb. It's a root. And St. Mary's thistle. And sometimes that's called milk thistle. So we have a herb company in Australia. It's called MediHerb. And it's a practitioner-only one, but you can get tablets, herbal tablets. And they have one herbal tablet that has all these herbs in it. And if we get someone that's got liver pain, gall pain, we get them to suck on those bitter herbs. Very bitter, but it seems to bring relief. St. Mary's thistle is the seed, gentian is a root, and dandelion is usually the root.
So there's a correct answer when it comes to the whole would you rather be in the forest with a man or a bear question. So let's break this down. When it comes to a polar bear, they tend to be the most dangerous breed of bear. When it comes to a grizzly bear, there's chances that you'll survive, but you're going to have to use some tactics to get out. When it comes to a black bear, they're very docile. You're pretty much guaranteed to just be safe around them. They're more scared of you than you are of them. Likewise, when it comes to men, countries that have predominantly white men in them tend to be the safest for women. Countries that have predominantly brown men tend to be very hostile towards women. And countries that have predominantly black men tend to be incredibly dangerous to women. So if my choices are between a white man and a white bear, I'm choosing the white man. Brown bear, brown man, rough choice. Depends on the religion of the brown man. between a black bear and a black man, I'm gonna go with the black bear.
We got some chimps and boons who can't follow the rules, and there are gangs of browns in your own hometown. Fights and riots in the streets. Look out for those trains, you stupid Jeeps. Yeah, society is dying rapidly, while white people just sit at home and watch dumb streams. Yeah, it's just a wild, wild world. Welcome to Wild, Wild World. Join me in Wild, Wild World. Let's sit back and watch the whole world burn.
No.
Well, I guess today isn't my day.
Hey, Jamal, LaMarcus, and Tone. Try and go easy on her today. She is just going through a phase. Good morning, Mr. Turd Eater.
How many times do I have to tell you? It's tardy door, you white monkey!
I apologize, Mr. Tordidor.
Never mind that. Now you will lose 1 week's pay. Now load your headset with the equal opportunity training module as a punishment.
Yes, sir, right away.
Make sure it's done.
This is training module 1. You are white, that means you are stupid and don't work hard. You are lazy, that is why you lose country. We do not stink. It is you, the white man, who is stinky. This is why your women leave you, for the more superior Indian man.
Hey, Mr. Tardador. My meds are hitting me hard today. Going to grab a coffee and I'll be right back.
You have 5 minutes only! Give me the money, white man! Right now, move it!
Wow, this is dangerous. I need to turn this into the authorities. Hey, I'd like a medium coffee with milk, please.
We don't have milk!
No milk? No milk? Milk?
Well, okay then.
Was it racist? Yes. But it felt so good. Give me a large cup of that.
You are late! It's been more than 5 minutes, you bastard!
Superman, hey little sister, who's the one we want? Hey little sister, shotgun. It's a nice day to start again. It's a nice day for a white wedding.
And who are you, little fella? Come to show them where I am?
It's a
Not
nice
nice.
day to start again. Hey little sister, who is it you're with? Hey little sister, what's your
Ma'am, stay away from feral niggers. Gotta go.
Oh my god, that's so racist.
Hey little sister, shotgun, oh yeah. Hey little sister, who's your Superman? Hey little sister, shotgun. It's a nice day to start again. It's a nice day for a white wedding. It's a nice day to start again.
I don't think I want to fuck butts anymore. I'm cured!
This is POLO News, live in New Delhi. A white man is going fucking crazy again. The DEI police are in pursuit of this white bastard right now.
And there's nothing sure in this world. And there's nothing pure in this world. Look for something left in this world. Start again. Come on, it's a nice day for a white wedding. Whoa, what's a nice day to start again?
Oh, I forgot. I'm getting cucked. Honey, guess who's home? Well, I guess we're still live. So listen up, all you perverts. All of you shit-skin invaders, you dirty kikes, and especially you white fucking traitors. The white man is back.
Yeah, it's just a wild, wild world. Welcome to Wild, Wild World. Join me in Wild, Wild World.
The government wants you to put your boomer parents that you don't like in a nursing home. That is their entire goal, is for you to put your boomer parent in a nursing home, particularly if they own a home or any type of asset. Because Medicare, you don't have to pay that back. That is what you get as health insurance when you turn 65 in America. And it doesn't cover much. It covers your basic needs. So they push for you to sign up for Medicaid supplementary. And what they leave out a lot of the times is that when you have Medicaid supplementary, when you're elderly and you pass away, Medicaid seizes all of those assets to pay back whatever you spent in Medicaid, which means that they're going to take houses, businesses, savings, pensions, whatever is left over. They now get that. It is their way of ensuring that middle and lower class people do not acquire any type of generational wealth, because those companies are going to come in and they're going to seize that house, that land, that business, whatever, and they're not going to sell it back to somebody like us. They're going to sell it to a corporation. That's who's going to come in and buy it. So for everybody that's like, I'm never taking care of my parents, I'm putting them in a home, yada, 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 that's fine if that's what you want to do, but you're going to lose everything that they own if you choose to do that.
We love convenience, but see the black plastic? We're going to talk all about black plastics because it's really dangerous. Black plastics are made from recycled electronics, and because of that, they have flame retardants in them that are carcinogen to the human body. We don't want that. It also has BPAs, which is really bad for endocrine disruption. Stay away from that. Make your own. Use your air fryer and make your own rotisserie chicken. So here is the example of what those takeout containers with the black plastic is that you want to avoid. This is something you'd get from a takeout restaurant when you're bringing food home. Try to not use anything with black plastic because it's just dangerous for your body.
Every day that I have on earth is a gift and a blessing, and I'm very grateful for that because, frankly, people are disappearing. Scientists are going missing. Now they're saying they're going to investigate this. The president himself is saying they're going to look into this and see if anything's going on. It's a little bit scary. I got to say, it's a little bit scary, but you guys knew that I might still show up even though it was last minute and I've had a really rough week. Like, you know, that's kind of like every week, but somehow we keep on making it through all of this.
This doesn't add up. Apparently, just a couple days ago, David Wilcock here unalived himself. That's the report. But I will explain to you in this investigation as to why this makes no sense. Here's the biggest piece of evidence from David himself. Listen to what he says.
Again, most of us can't do this. You don't get to resurrect. If you lay down your life, you're done. So please don't do that. Please don't be stupid. Okay? It's something you never want to have to go through. And again, you know, natural is the only way to go. But
So you just heard David Wilcock himself say the day before he supposedly unalives himself, allegedly unalives himself, the day before on a live stream says, it's stupid to unalive yourself, don't do it. And then you're telling me I should believe that he did so the next day. Now, the weird part about this is that during my investigation, I found a lot of conflicting reports. But what we do have here from TMZ 25 minutes ago is that they encountered a male outside who was Wilcock, who was armed. And at this point, it was not clear whether he was alive or not. And Anna Paulina says that, yes, he has taken it, his own. But if it's not clear, those body cams had to be rolling. And look, I'm not saying that I agree with everything David Wilcock ever said. What I am saying is that we have a person, a creator, who is an independent creator, as far as we know, who was saying what they believe outside a mainstream narrative and said multiple times, not only just the day before, don't alive yourself, he said it multiple times before over the years. I remember him saying, there are karmic consequences to unaliving yourself, so don't do it. So when somebody says they're not going to do something over and over, and then apparently they do. No, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. So I'm not saying I know what happened either way. What I am saying is that release the body cam footage. We want to see, we demand that the body cam footage is released so that we get to see for ourselves what happened. Because in my opinion, there is no way that you don't have body cam footage on for that. So, let us see for ourselves. If you got nothing to hide, then show us. So until I see proof that he did unalive himself, I will not take somebody else's word for it. That would be stupid. If somebody says, I'm not going to do something over and over, and then you could easily cover up if somebody didn't like what he was saying. Oh, he just did it to himself, but we don't have any footage. Sound familiar?
Boy, if you didn't think things could get any worse in the world.
This is an emergency SOS call from the Netherlands. All hope is lost. Please save us. I'm calling on the international community to do something about the extreme disease that is in charge of the Netherlands. Just tonight, our parliament discussed a new law that will allow 2 men to donate DNA material to create a joint embryo out of 2 men, meaning a child born of 2 men. And will also allow a single person to mate with themselves to produce a self-fertilized egg, and then create a child with only one biological parent. This comes after the Netherlands legalized gay marriage, after we had the first gay prime minister, after we invented the Dutch protocol, which is an unscientific, unproven way of castrating a man and then giving him a fake vagina with tissue from out of his ass. I'm not kidding about that. We're allowing euthanasia of children from ages 12 and up, and 16 and 17-year-olds can have themselves euthanized without their parental consent. We are also allowing, under the Groningen Protocol, the euthanasia of children up to 1 year old. So if you don't like your child, you can get rid of it after it's been born. Of course, we have abortion up to birth, right? We had the world's first pedophile party taking part in our elections. My God, I can't do this anymore. I wasn't born to grow up in this Sodom and Gomorrah of the world. I am of the opinion that this country needs to be vaporized. And I hereby call upon President Donald Trump, on President Putin of Russia, and the Ayatollah of Iran to point your nuclear rockets at this country and blast it to shits. Away with this. This cannot heal without first bombing it to the ground.
They lit the fire, fed the flame, then hide it all behind a name. A distant war, still they press, turning greed into a mess. Voices rising through the night, like a flame that brings the light. This is not a war to fight. We won't burn for someone else's fight. Pushed by shadows, led by lies, we seek truth behind their
When 15 U.S. Code Section 19, the interlocking directorates, This is one that says that you are not allowed to get companies that actually have competing interests to get together and fix prices. That's racketeering. It's all those nasty things. And guess what we have? We have Pfizer and Moderna and Anthony Fauci, all of them financial interested. We have Justin Trudeau. Oh, Dave, you're not going to be mean to a Canadian. They'll go, hey. Well, yeah, I am. I'm going to be mean to a Canadian because here we go. Justin Trudeau, who actually failed to disclose to any Canadian that the Canadian government gets a kickback for every one of the Pfizer and Moderna shots because Acuitas and Arbutus Pharmaceuticals, both out of British Columbia, are the ones that invented the lipid nanoparticle that is licensed to inject the pathogen into everybody. Canada wins every time there's a shot, which may explain why Justin Trudeau ordered 10 times more vaccines than there are Canadians, including the moose. Why would we need 10 times more doses than the sum total of all of Canada plus the moose? Well, it turns out it's racketeering. Because if I'm getting a kickback for every dollar I spend, guess what I get to do? I get to pocket a whole lot of money from all over the world, which is exactly what happened.
We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin, and your refusal has cost all of us.
People who are incubators for every variant to come, walking around lawfully unvaccinated? That's psychotic.
For the unvaccinated, you're looking at a winter of severe illness and death. For yourselves, your families, and the hospitals you may soon overwhelm.
About this, in a world of threats and tyrants and terror, you know what our biggest enemy is in America? Our fellow Americans.
They are the ones that are propagating this outbreak.
Being frustrated that there is still a percentage of the population who are not vaccinated.
I wish that he would go further to restrict the activities of the unvaccinated.
Vaccinated person having a heart attack? Yes, come right on in. We'll take care of you. Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo? Rest in peace, Wheezy.
That 25% can cause a lot of damage, and they are.
If you're willing to walk among us unvaccinated, you are an enemy.
Well, you know, it's my rights, but okay. But I don't care.
The pandemic of the unvaccinated.
Well, look, the only pandemic we have is among the unvaccinated, and they're killing people.
Freedom not to follow the facts, even if your freedom kills people? What kind of freedom is that? What kind of freedom do they really want?
We have a pandemic because of the unvaccinated, and they're sowing enormous confusion. The unvaccinated overcrowd our hospitals, are overrunning emergency rooms and intensive care units, leaving no room for someone with a heart attack or pancreatitis or cancer.
Shouldn't they have to pay more into the system because they are collapsing our health system? They're the ones in the ERs.
Require vaccination universally. Have the military run it. If you don't want to get vaccinated, you better be ready to prove your conscientious objector status in court.
It's almost like it's going to be two Americas.
Okay, DNA, that's a very good question. DNA is just an abbreviation for a much longer name, deoxyribonucleic acid. That's what DNA stands for. Now, deoxy, see, that's a Latin root. If you trace its meaning, it means God. So deoxyribo. In the Semitic languages, ribo is the same as rabbi. Or in the Arabic, we say Rab. It means the master, the Lord. So here we have deoxyribo, God, Lord, and master. Nucleic acid. Nucleic means at the center, and acid is like chemical fire. So deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA. What does it mean? God, Lord and Master. The fire at the center of my being. So what does the Bible say about it? It says, in the beginning was the Word. And the Word was what? The Word was God. And the Word was with God. Then it says, after many days, the Word became flesh and dwelt among men. Well, see, that's DNA. So now the DNA basically is the God molecule that actually is the blueprint for how to make a human being. Every molecule, every protein, every substance in your body was coded for, programmed for in the DNA. But how did it get expressed as a protein, say in muscle or bone? How did that get expressed physically out of a word? How did it manifest into flesh? That's the messenger RNA. See, the mRNA, the small case m stands for messenger. So it's almost theological. If DNA is the God molecule, well, how does God communicate with the world? He sends messengers, prophets, teachers, with a message. So in the cell of a body, okay, suppose some injury took place. So, suppose you cut your skin, like I got a little thing here. Okay, so a message went to the cell from the DNA. Oh, there was a protein that got destroyed in some cell. We need 300 of those units to replace what got destroyed. So the messenger RNA comes out with that message to code for that protein. And then the cell gets busy and makes 300 copies of that exact protein, fixes whatever the injury was. We call that healing. We take it for granted. But how did it happen? The DNA was in charge and gave a command to the messenger RNA to go make a protein. It's creation taking place at every minute, every second. Why? Because it's God that's at the very center of our being. So what does the enemy to God and the righteous want to do? He wants to send in an alien word, an alien messenger RNA. Not the word of God coming from the divine, but coming from the outside, literally coming from Bill Gates. So what kind of message does Bill Gates want to send into your cells? A 2 or 3 generational genocidalist, eugenicist. He's hated black people, even his father, his grandfather. They all believed in eugenics, population reduction, but they didn't have the means to carry it out. And so now here's little Billy. He's got the means in his hands to actually carry out the depopulation agenda of his father and his grandfather.
Images of people in China dropping in the street went viral, using a knee and hands to break the fall. Not in the same style as millions were collapsing after 2020 by using their face to break the fall. The exact same message of fear was parroted in real time across the world by the media. And the governments of the world all agreed, for the first time ever, to tear up their own emergency pandemic preparedness protocols, the ones developed by medical experts and refined over years with consultation and discussion, so that when an emergency arises, emotion and panic doesn't get in the way. Yes, that's the one they all tore up without hesitation. And then within a fortnight, the whole world was in lockdown and people were locked in their homes, another world first. Because it was such a dangerous disease that you had to be tested to know that you had it. So virulent and transmissible, you had to keep 6 feet apart for, but to get a swab sample, drill all the way to the brain. And even if it did exist, it could only kill people on average older than life expectancy itself. Or as Boris Johnson joked, get COVID, live longer. I say even if it did exist, because despite many freedom of information requests and court proceedings, No scientific documentation has ever been produced to show its isolation. It's a well-known fact. The best ways to avoid and fight off disease is to exercise, get sunshine, eat a healthy diet, and breathe fresh air. So they closed the gyms, locked everyone in their homes, kept chain fast food and liquor stores open, and enforced masks. Masks, which in 2020, Fauci said were useless. Then he said they were essential. Then 2 masks. Then the more masks the better. Until finally confessing in 2024 that he made it all up, including the 6 feet apart. And these are the same masks which in 2003 the Australian government issued $110,000 fines to retailers for if they exaggerated the health benefits of. A lot of people assumed those in charge were looking after them. They looked after children by closing schools, banning social interactions and forcing masks on them. They looked after lovers by either separating them, locking them up together, cancelling their wedding, or by taking away their livelihood. They looked after the chronically ill by denying them medical care. Disease went undiagnosed and hospital visits were blocked. They looked after the religious by paying churches to close their doors. They looked after the abused by locking them up with their abusers. They looked after families by separating them over borders. They looked after the elderly by isolating them from their family. They looked after the dying by banning loved ones to be by their side, then banned family from attending their funeral. You weren't allowed to visit family, but you were allowed to visit a brothel. Small businesses were forced to close, but chain stores remained open. It was 2 weeks to flatten the curve, which turned into 4, 8, 12, or with Victoria, 37 weeks. All with the promise of a vaccine that's on the way, which will let everyone out of their homes because it will stop you from getting it and passing it on.
Vaccine, key goal is to stop the transmission, to develop a plan for the world to globally eliminate COVID-19.
They locked the entire state of Victoria down with 6.5 million people for less than 20 cases, which is impossible given PCR has a 5% false positive rate. The inventor of PCR, Kary Mullis, said, "It can't tell you if you're sick, and if you run enough cycles, it will show anything." Kary Mullis was a strong critic of Tony Fauci, but ended up dying mysteriously in August of 2019.
Tony Fauci does not mind going on television in front of the people that pay his salary and lie directly into the camera.
While the world was locked in their homes, politicians partied and took off their masks whenever they thought the cameras weren't rolling.
We should all be wearing a mask.
Hospitals were told to put COVID on a death certificate without a test if they assumed. Hospitals were paid more and with increasing amounts, then 3 times more if put on a ventilator. $40,000 US. We never heard about anyone dying from COVID in their homes, as you'd expect, with a deadly disease. All COVID deaths were oddly in a hospital. At the same time, hospitals were apparently overwhelmed. Videos of choreographed and well-rehearsed TikTok videos of nurses dancing were going viral. Not surprisingly, videos were emerging from all over the world showing empty hospitals.
So there's nobody even in there. Nobody's in the hospital. How is that possible in a medical pandemic?
No one was collapsing in the street from COVID, and the bodies of the homeless weren't found laying in the street. Animals weren't randomly dying from it. Although at one stage the UK considered killing all pet cats to contain the spread. Super cheap antiparasitical drugs were widely reported by many sources, including The Lancet, to dramatically reduce symptoms, including Fauci himself, who in 2005 called it a wonder drug, prophylactic and a vaccine. Then the media shills chimed in and branded the Nobel Prize-winning medication a horse dewormer and ridiculed anyone for taking it. Those who complied with the rules were assured they had superior intelligence and morals,